Meme build. Meme build. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just clapping to see if the audio is synced. Hey guys, so this is gonna be a kind of, well, meme build, I guess. But, or at least I thought that it's gonna be a meme build, but it actually turned out to be a pretty decent build. I would still not like recommend to actually play this build unless you kind of want to practice like how it would feel in 4.0, because as you know 4.0 is supposed to be much slower and much more harder, so all the fights are gonna be longer. And it actually was surprisingly interesting to play this because, well, you can actually experience the fights. And Shaper fight, by the way, definitely Shaper. Shaper fight was actually also pretty exciting because it felt like an actual fight rather than just go in, nuke it down in 5 seconds and move on. So, and I did exclusively use Siphoning Trap. I did not use any other skills to do the damage. I did use multiple things to boost the damage, but the main thing that was doing the damage was Siphoning Trap. And right from the start, it didn't feel that bad actually. The cooldown is a bit annoying, but once you get cooldown and recovery speed, use advanced traps, it feels almost like a normal build. Of course, it was a bit slower. And I'm gonna show a bunch of clips how it felt like while leveling, and then where the drawback is. Like for example, I failed the soft domain because I just didn't have enough clear speed. It just wasn't doing enough damage. But back then it was, I believe I was below level 70, so I didn't have like level 21 gem, and I didn't have all the other items. And also I did a couple high level save houses. I was around level 70 and I did level 79 save house. I also did level 83 save house, but I did not do the Shaper's Guardians. I just went straight for the Shaper once I finished leveling. And by finished leveling, I mean I reached level 83, which was kind of enough. The rest is just get more life, and the damage is already limited. But yeah, so I'm gonna talk about this build and how I scaled it, but it doesn't have like anything fancy. It just, well, basically scaling cold damage over time multiplier, then elemental damage, cold damage, and then getting elemental equilibrium, elemental overload, 2 choruses, and then malevolence and skitterbots basically, and then cooldown and recovery speed on belt. But I'm gonna show all the items. But first, if you're wondering what's that on my hoodie, and the answer is I have a merch store now. Actually, I can show you from close up. There you go. I even have t-shirts. Boom. And this is not the only design. I think it looks really cool. It has multiple colors. I'm gonna do a proper video, separate video about this and talk about it in more details. But if you go check the video description, you will see a link to the merch store, and you can see our designs, pick your options, and yeah, get some cool t-shirts and hoodies. Now back to the video. So the way I built this, like I said, cold damage over time, and the biggest damage comes from Spine of the First Claimant. By the way, in video clips I will show just a couple of leveling clips, but the rest will be Shaper fight, because Shaper fight took like 8 minutes from start to finish, not counting the 4 mini bosses before that. So I think the Shaper fight was kind of interesting to see, so I'm gonna focus on Shaper fight. So the main dual wield weapons I chose with the Spine of the First Claimant, because it does give a lot of cold damage, elemental damage, and then cold damage over time. A bit of cast speed, which can help with the like Flame Dash or summoning, not summoning, but casting Orb of Storm and Frostbomb. So those are a bit expensive. I believe they only drop from the Labyrinth, so they have limited accessibility, I guess. But they're like, what, 20C at least at the end of this league, so it's not that bad. Then I have, let's see, I do have Siphoning Trap, Helmet Enchantment for increased damage, but it's not that needed. But of course, every bit of increase is gonna help. The helmet is also with nearby enemies have -9 cold resistance. Amulet, shaped amulet can roll cold damage over time multiplier, which is what I have, and that's basically all. Just cold damage over time multiplier, life, and some resistances if you need strength dex. I chose to anoint Hasty Reconstruction, which basically saves me 2 points, well 3 points. But it's just to increase the trap damage a bit and to give me a bit more cooldown recovery speed, but it's not really needed. Then one of the rings is Mark of the Shaper, but that's like level 80 requirement, so until then I was using just random rings with life and the rest. Another one is Elder's Ring, just whatever you can get. If you can get cold damage, that's great, then life, resistances, and that's all. On belt cooldown recovery speed, I was pretty lucky to roll the maximum cooldown recovery speed, but even without it, you can do it. You don't actually need cooldown recovery speed, and the rest is just life. Strength and dex was kind of an issue because I needed 180 strength for this body armor. You can use any body armor as long as you get a 6 link and as long as you get enough life and resistances. On the gloves you can also get, on shaped gloves you can get cold damage over time multiplier, which is what I have, and then life, some rest, and then strength again. Boots, whatever boots, just a lot of life and a lot of resistances. And and that's all basically on the items. Now for the skills and links, Siphoning Trap is level 21, quality doesn't matter that much because the chill isn't important in here. Siphoning Trap is linked with trap and mine damage, control destruction, efficacy. Swift Affliction is for single target, and hypothermia. I do swap Swift Affliction into advanced traps for clear speed, because you definitely want that cooldown recovery speed if you want to actually use this for the clear speed. Then I have casting damage taken, Immortal Call, increased duration, and Valrighteous Fire. I think I used it like 2 times in this whole build existence, so it's not really needed. The damage is, yeah, it boosts the damage for a bit, but my damage is low enough for me to not really notice the boost in damage. Like, it's hard to explain, but basically you don't need Valrighteous Fire. And Bear Trap would not help because Bear Trap only helps with hits and ailments, and I did not want to use like Vortex or Cold Snap because that obviously would deal a lot more damage, and it wouldn't be a Siphoning Trap build. Other things what I have is Skitterbots linked with Bone Chill actually, and Unlightened level 3. Skitterbots can link with Bone Chill, turns out, and I think it used to not be able to link it, but now it does, and it does help because enemies shielded by supported skill take 26% increased cold damage over time, and then your other skills just deal more cold damage over time. Then I also have Frostbomb linked with Arcane Surge and Flame Dash. This is to trigger Arcane Surge and to apply cold exposure on enemies lowering their cold rest. Then I have Orb of Storm linked with Curse on Hit, Elemental Weakness, and Increased Crit Strike. It should be Frostbite, I just didn't have it level Frostbite, so I was using Elemental Weakness. And the other curse is from the Witchfire Brew. And then I also have Malevolence linked with nothing, actually. Now, my fight usually looks like that. I go next to enemies, drop Orb of Storm, drop Frost Bomb, drop Trap, and then use Flame Dash to trigger Arcane Surge. And then run around, place Frost Bomb again, throw Trap again, run around, repeat. Siphoning Trap damage in PvP is around 280,000 against the Shaper, which is fine because it's consistent damage, you deal it all the time. It's not like you need to stop and you can just move around while it's still dealing damage. So it's fine. It's not the best, of course, but it doesn't have to be the best. But I know that many people were interested in actually trying Siphoning Trap. So there you go. Now you don't need to try it. You can actually push the damage higher. I don't have the Watcher's Eye for cold damage over time multiplier, but I do have the one for Malevolence, but for increased recovery. By the way, Regen isn't that efficient for this. It does give around a bit less than 400 life regen per second when affected only one enemy, but you don't really feel it that much. but it does help to survive a bit. Now this is Saboteur because I wanted for more cooldown recovery speed. You can do Occultist, but the cooldown would be very long and very unpleasant to play. And yeah, I got the Chain Reaction first to get cooldown recovery speed. Then I got Born in the Shadows for the blind, which helps me survive a bit more, and then finally decided to go for Explosive Expert. And the reason is that the AoE does affect the beam range. Also get a bit more reliable crit chance with the Orb of Storm to proc Elemental Overload, and take less damage from AoE. And the reason why I didn't go with the Pyromaniac is because I only get like 1% regen per second, because I don't normally throw more than like one trap every like 2 or 3 seconds. So I wouldn't benefit from the extra regen from this, and then I don't really need a reduced mana cost because I only throw one trap, so it's not a big deal. And immunity to ignites and shocks, yeah, whatever, I can just use Flash to remove that. So the only other option was the Explosive Expert from Uberlab. And the rest is just getting some trap nodes, getting elemental damage, getting cold damage overtime multiplier, and then going to the left from the witch to get the extra cores, and then elemental overload, elemental equilibrium. Just make sure you don't have any added cold damage to spells, or it will mess up your elemental equilibrium. And yeah, and then just get enough life, and that's all. This could have a bit more life. Like I said, this is level 83, so you could level it to like level 90 something, and maybe even get phase aggro to make it a bit tankier. But I mean, the damage is never gonna be like great with this. This is supposed to be just a meme and just to show what this Siphoning Trap is capable of, because I personally like the visuals of Siphoning Trap. Those beams look like almost like Spider-Man's webs. Looks pretty cool. And yeah, that's basically it. So I actually decided to do one more build before the end of the league, and that's gonna be a Holy Relic build. It's not gonna be like anything special. It's just I never really played with Holy Relics, and I know that it's kind of meh and maybe even okay-ish, so I don't expect much out of it, and it's just kind of to see what it is capable actually. And that is pretty much it. So the next video will, or should be, about the merch store and more details about it. And that's all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you pretty soon. Bye bye.